Welcome back to another exciting full build episode. This video is sponsored by Manscaped.com, and the folks over at Manscaped have challenged me to try and forge an axe. And not just any axe, they want me to try to make an axe that's sharp enough to shave with. Now, not only am I up for the challenge, I have something really special in store for you. Yup, some of you probably already guessed it. We're making this axe out of Damascus. Normally when you see Ilya and myself make Damascus on the channel, we do what's called the hot cut and fold technique. While the billet's still hot, we hot cut it in half, fold it, flux it, and continue forging the material out before it ever gets a chance to cool down, which saves you a ton of time. However, it was the end of the day when I got this bar drawn out, so I just let it cool down, and now we're going to do what's called the restacking method. So I'm going to clean my surfaces on the grinder, cut them on the bandsaw, restack my pieces, and continue forging from there. With the initial billet now drawn out to length, it's time to repeat steps 5 through 8. Now that we have the desired layer count, it's time to begin working on the preform of our axe. I'm going to be using a top tool to create a depression that will become the eye of the axe. In combination with the top tool, I'm also using a bottom tool so that the bottom of a material doesn't distort while I'm working on the other side. I want to take a second to tell you guys about today's sponsor, and that's Manscaped.com. Since going on Shark Tank, Manscaped has blown up to become the world's most premium brand in men's hygiene and grooming. Hygiene has become a super important issue right now, and taking care of your own self from home has become the new norm. Manscaped has everything you need to get started, providing the perfect tools for your smithing jewels. Let's use anvils as an example. Every blacksmith has one, and they come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes. But one thing remains the same: they all need a base to sit on. Unfortunately, a lot of blacksmiths just use a rough cut stump for their anvil base. And that doesn't really show off your pride and joy, now does it? What you want is an anvil base that's cut to fit your anvil, and hey, when it's made just right, it makes your anvil look even bigger. Enroll in the Peak Hygiene Plan today and you get quarterly replenishments of your favorite products and replacement blades delivered to your door hassle-free. Your replenishment pack always comes with a free gift. And this month, we get the Foot Duster pH Control Foot Deodorizing Spray, a $30 value, completely free. The Perfect Package Essentials Kit by Manscaped comes with everything you see here, including water-resistant high-performance body trimmers and liquid products made specifically for men. Take it from me, guys, you don't want to try to book serious clients for your awesome blacksmithing work that you've spent a lot of time on looking like a crazed maniac like this. You want to spend just a little bit of time on yourself. You can use awesome Manscaped products, look presentable like me, and give your work the presentation it deserves. Go to the links below, use the promo code THATWORKS20 and receive 20% off when you click the link below and order your own package from manscaped.com today. Alright, the preform of our axe is now done. We have our surfaces that will be forged welded, now sanded to a 220 finish. The next stage is to go ahead and bend this thing so that the two surfaces match and it does the initial shaping of our eye. You could just use a forge to heat up the whole piece and do your bending that way. However, you're gonna risk your nice clean surfaces getting scaled up, and then that would inhibit your forge weld. So I'm gonna use our Harris torch, heat up some specific areas, get that eye formed, get our two pieces matching, and then we can move on to doing the forge weld. If you were paying attention, you may have noticed that the eye of the axe got a little distorted while I was putting it all together. That's okay, I always planned on putting a drift in the eye to correct it afterwards anyway. We just drift it from both sides, and now our eye is perfectly to shape, ready to go back to forming the actual axe itself. To begin drawing out the beard and the blade of the axe, I'm switching over to some drawing dies underneath our Anyang power hammer. These dies allow me to pinch material and pull it in any direction that I need to much more aggressively than flat dies would have. Although a power hammer is absolutely fantastic for the early phases of forging an axe like this, sometimes you can't beat good old-fashioned hammer and anvil to finish out the forming of the axe. Alright, we got our pattern welded Damascus axe now forged. Everything looks pretty great. I've left myself a lot of meat to grind whatever shape I feel like out of it. So what I'm going to start with is the same process that I start with on just about every grinding blade that I do. Axe, sword, knife, it doesn't matter. And that is the perimeter. So I'm going to get in with some small wheels, really establish all my shape before I ever go on to sanding on the surface at all. So now that we have a plan, let's get to grinding. As most of you probably know, heat treating an item like this is the moment of truth for a craftsman. This is where you find out if all your welds were good, if your material's right, if you actually know the proper heats to heat treat at, and in this case, how good you can take an awkward item in and out of a forge that you built. Alright, the heat treat on our axe went exactly as planned. We had no warping, no weld splitting, everything went great. I did a quick temper with a torch right after the actual quench itself, and then I stuck it in our little kiln for about an hour at 420 degrees, so we have a very safe temper. One thing I do need your guys' help on is to name this axe. It doesn't have a very specific pattern that I was following. I was just making an axe out of my own mind, It has a bit of a carving axe shape to it, a little bit of Viking design, and then my personal design implements all throughout. So do me a favor, go to the comment section, because this axe, it needs a name. One of the things I've become known for is the carving work that I do on a lot of my pieces using a narrow wheel right on our 2x72 grinder. So you know, if I'm gonna attach my name to an axe, I'm probably gonna do some of this carving. Alright, now that the metal work is just about complete on our axe, it's time to move on to the wood handle. Now because our axe is pattern welded, I decided that it needed to have an axe handle that was a little more special than normal. So I had my buddy Nick over at Thrane Axe and Sawmill Company make me a laminated axe blank. Now what that means is it has multiple pieces of wood that have been put through a planer, flattened, and then glued together. We have in the center ash, then walnut, then white oak, then more walnut. So all the dark is walnut and the bright is different kinds, just like you'd see in a pattern welded steel billet. So when I start rounding over my handle, you're gonna see those layers exposed a lot like you'd see in a natural grain Damascus pattern. So it should be pretty awesome. We're gonna go ahead and open up the shop doors, push this thing open, get some air flowing through here, and start sanding on our handle. Alright, the last little bit of metal work we have to do to our axe blade before we can etch it to reveal the beautiful pattern beneath the steel is to...
It's gonna be beautiful!
Cause I made it. There's a super thin line between confidence and arrogance, and I may have just crossed it. Anyway. I'm using a slack belt attachment on my Broadbeck Ironworks grinder to create the edge belt. The reason I'm using a slack belt is because I want my cutting edge to actually be convex instead of flat. Really sorry to some of you who thought I was actually going to shave my entire beard off just for a sponsor. That'll never happen. Little bit'll do. Thanks for watching this pattern welded axe build. Don't forget to go to the comments and let us know what you think the name of this axe should be. And if you enjoyed this video, we ask you to give it a thumbs up, pound that like button, and tell us in the comments below what build you want to see this team build next. And as always, we ask you to consider subscribing to That Works. Thank you.